Hello, and welcome to our Unit 1 vocabulary video. So today we're going to be walking through an experimental design, pointing out key aspects and vocabulary words that will be important throughout the year. So here's the story. You have made an observation, and now you have a question. I bought two of the same hydrangea plants at Home Depot, but the flowers are different colors. What is causing this difference? My observation, the plants are two different colors. My question, what's causing this difference? So where do I go to find the answer? Google, right? Everyone's default, we go to Google. So I type in hydrangea color into Google, and I see my results, the first being HGTV, the second being AmericanScientist.org. Who do I trust? Well, first one on Google, I must trust it, right? Probably not, but I'm going to see what they have to say. HGTV claims that the pH changes the color of hydrangeas because of the interactions the pigments have with hydrogen ions. This is interesting. Because of what I read on the internet and my preliminary observation, I'm going to generate a hypothesis. It's not just based on what I observed, it's not just based on what I believe, it's based on some research. So I hypothesize that acidic soil leads to more pink hydrangeas and basic soil leads to purple hydrangeas because of the interactions that occur between pigment molecules and hydrogen ions. So my hypothesis is an educated prediction that explains a measurable outcome. And my explanation is cited. So I got this information from hgtv.com. I have a measurable prediction, meaning that there's going to be more pink hydrangeas in acidic soil than in basic soil. I can measure that. I can count the hydrangeas. So the previous statement is referred to as a hypothesis, like I said, because it is a prediction that includes an explanation. So to address this hypothesis, I might start with something called an observational study. So what I will do is I will do a scientific test where I do not manipulate the test subjects. So I'm just kind of going to stand back and observe what happens. So here we go. I buy a pH meter from Home Depot, and I walk into my backyard where I planted my hydrangea plants, and I am going to measure the pH underneath the pink hydrangeas. And I find that that pH is 6.5. And then I'm going to measure the pH under the purple hydrangeas, and I find that that pH is 7.5. Okay, interesting. Am I done? Is that enough information to support or refute my hypothesis? Does this evidence alone support the statement made by HGTV? No, this is not enough, but this is a good start, right? There are so many factors that I have not looked into that could be affecting the color of the hydrangeas. I don't know everything about the environment these plants are growing in. I also haven't looked at all into my explanation, right? What are the hydrogen ions doing? I have no idea from this study. So what do I do next? Okay. Is it possible that other differences exist between the growing conditions of the pink and purple hydrangea? Yes. So I need to carry out what is called a controlled experiment. A controlled experiment is a scientific test where one or a few factors are manipulated by the scientist and all others remain constant. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two plots of land that are identical in size and soil type, access to sunlight, access to water, identical in all of these facets. But what I, as the scientist, am going to manipulate is the pH. So to one plot of land, I'm going to add some sulfur. And what this sulfur will do is it will alter the pH until 6.5. I'm going to take this second plot of land and I'm going to add sodium bicarbonate, and that will bring the pH to 7.5. So right now these two plots of land are identical except for a difference in pH. So I'm going to grab some hydrangea seeds and I will plant them in my two plots of land. Probably 10 or more seeds, because one seed is not enough evidence, right? If I just generated one pink or one purple hydrangea, it would not be enough evidence, okay? Along with my two experimental plots of land, I will set up a third plot of soil, but I'm not going to change the pH. And this will be my control group, a group that is not exposed to the factor I am manipulating. Okay. So here's my third plot of land. I have not added any sulfur. I have not added any bicarbonate. And it is my control group, conversely to my previous two groups, which are my two experimental groups, because I did manipulate a factor on that plot of land. Okay, so this plot of land has a pH of 7 without anything added. Okay, and what do I call the factor that I manipulated? This is called the independent variable. Okay, and in the case of this experiment, the independent variable is pH. Should multiple independent variables be included in one controlled experiment? If I changed pH and amount of water, would I know what was causing my hydrangeas to be different colors? No. So you ideally want to change one independent variable at a time. Okay. How will I know if the independent variable, the pH, is affecting my test subjects? Well, I am going to need to take a measurement of a particular output. This is referred to as the dependent variable. Okay. In the case of this experiment, I'm going to count the number of pink and purple hydrangeas in each plot of land, my experimental plots, as well as my control plots. So the dependent variable, so that output that I measure, can be either qualitative or quantitative. So something that is qualitative explains a characteristic, something like the hydrangeas are light pink with one green leaf, while something that is quantitative is a numerical observation, like there are 3 pink hydrangeas. In this case, I'm going to opt for more quantitative data, and I'm going to count the number of hydrangeas as per my previous hypothesis. So here are some of my results. In my 6.5 pH plot, I have 3 pink hydrangeas. In my 7.5 pH plot, I have 2 purple hydrangeas and 1 pink hydrangea. Have I proven my hypothesis? No, I have not proven my hypothesis, even if I have all the data. Okay, so here's all my data. In the 6.5 plot of land, I had 10 pink hydrangeas and no purple hydrangeas. In my 7.0 plot of land, I had 6 pink hydrangeas and 4 purple hydrangeas. And in my 7.5 plot of land, I had 1 pink and 9 purple. Of course, this makes me think that the lower the pH, the more pink hydrangeas, but I cannot say that this is proof for a lower pH leading to more pink hydrangeas. Okay, I have not proven my hypothesis, okay? But I can state a trend, right? It seems like the lower the pH, the more pink hydrangeas that grow, okay? In science, hypotheses cannot be proven, but you can generate more support for your hypothesis with more repetitions of an experiment. leading to greater validity of the results. Okay. So I could support my hypothesis or I could negate my hypothesis. I cannot prove my hypothesis. Okay. And once I figure this out, I will be presenting my findings in the format of claim, evidence, reasoning. So my claim is a statement that answers the original question. Lower pH causes more pink hydrangeas to grow. My evidence is the scientific data that supports my claim. So 9 out of 10 hydrangeas are pink when the pH is 6.5, while only 6 out of 10 are pink when the pH is 7.0, and 1 out of 10 is pink when the pH is 7.5. I am citing the data to support my claim, and my reasoning is a justification that links the claim to the evidence. This is likely happening because the hydrogen ions at a low pH are interacting with the pigment chemicals in the hydrangea, causing them to be pink. And of course, I would cite that information because I did not experimentally determine it. I found it through literature research, which is valid, but I just need to cite that. And I need to make sure my source is credible. So I likely want to find another source besides HGTV. Okay. And this process is summarized in this visual here. And of course, there's many more intricacies to it because science is not linear. Okay, it doesn't always go in one direction. It's not a straight process, but it might send you in circles and cycles, and you might continue to ask new questions and collect new data and build new hypotheses. We will do lots of this year. All right, guys, best of luck. Watch this, rewatch this, do whatever you need to do. All right, hopefully you're making sense of the scientific method.